Hey all you super players out there, Ben Lodice aka 5 Buck Lunch, and today we have a lot of really interesting preview cards. I believe we have 5 super rares, which kind of tie up some of the decks, and we get, I finally get to look at the promos, the Sun Gohan and the Piccolo Unison, which I was really anxiously waiting for, and actually they turned out to be black, which is interesting. A lot of people thought the Piccolo was going to be yellow, but yeah, it's black and it's Overrealm support, which is pretty cool. There's actually quite a few Overrealm or quasi-Overrealm themes in this set, which is kind of cool because we haven't had that in a while. But to start off with the front side of the Sun Gohan, activate main, add 1 Piccolo Savior from Beyond from your deck to your hand, shuffle your deck, and negate the skill for the game. So he basically filters and immediately searches your Unison, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about drawing it or anything like that. And then he has, when this card attacks, burst 3, draw a card, and at 4 life you can draw 1 on tap 1 to awaken him. On the awaken side, when he attacks, you draw a card and then place 3 battle cards from your black battle cards from your warp into your drop area. So basically he has the old Demigro ability where you get to put, instead of milling cards once you flip, you put cards back. It allows you to overrun a bunch of times without having to worry about decking out. And then when you activate an overrun, he gets 5k critical and double strike, which is a lot. So yeah, this leader's pretty cool. Basically, you're going to play a lot of small little, like, 3 overrealms in order to activate his ability every turn, and then start swinging with your, 20k double critical leader. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not sure if it'll be quite good enough to be, like, tier 1, but it'll probably be, like, tier 2. Like, double critical is really powerful. And I'm pretty excited to try it out because I really like Overrealm. Plus, you can search out Piccolo Savior from the Beyond for free, which is a black Unison. During your turn, this card gets plus 5k power for every 2 markers on it. So that's a really cool way to have it have attack power without, with it being able to be attacked on your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. It starts at 10k, so basically, the first turn, it's going to be 15k when it attacks your opponent, and if they don't solve it, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, which is kind of cool. It's interesting because it has a +2 and a +1 that are kind of the same thing, so the +2... choose a card in your hand and discard it. And then the +1 is choose a card in your hand and discard it if you do draw 1 card. So that's pretty interesting. You can either use it to discard a card and you get 2 counters, so he's protected more. Or if you want, you can just keep cycling cards and he won't be protected as much or like get as powerful, but you don't lose any advantage. It's a really interesting kind of decision point, and I'm really kind of excited for the fact that they're giving more utility kind of abilities like this to the Unisons. And then for the -3, it's just send 2 battle cards for your opponent's drop area to their warp. I mean, you use it against like Shingenron and stuff, but for the most part, you're just going to be plussing with Piccolo and using it as an actual attacker, which is cool because like a card like this normally, it wouldn't really pose as much of a threat, so your opponent would just kind of leave it alone and let you just kind of cycle cards. But since it gets like stronger and stronger if your opponent doesn't do anything about it, it actually does put some pressure on your opponent without there being some like big minus payoff like a lot of the other Unisons have. Piccolo, Demonic Transformation. 3 cost, 15k. If your leader card is mono yellow, play this card. Then if your, counterplay. If your leader card is mono yellow, play this card. Then if the card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is played with the skills negated for the turn. So this is pretty cool. It's a Demon Clan with Garlic Jr. I believe that you do have to pay the energy for this, if I'm correct. Because playing this card, because the only cost of your leader being mono yellow. That being said, a Frost Deadly Poison is a card that has been very successful in the past. So this card is pretty good. Also, if it's your opponent's return, reduce the energy cost to your hand for... Okay, so it's even a 2 cost. It's a 2 cost Bloodlust. Wow, for yellow. Yeah, this is really good. Holy smokes. Yeah, this is a really, really good card that's going to help yellow leaders out a lot. Bloodlust type effects we kind of haven't had in the recent format because the only way to get them is just too expensive. But 2 energy is pretty cheap for that, and this will definitely help out that Garlic Jr. deck. Speaking of, Garlic Jr. Overlord of the Dead Zone is a 5 cost with 5 specific yellow. Unique, Indestructible, Critical, EX Evolve on the Garlic Jr. 3 for 1 yellow. Okay, so it's a 1 yellow EX pretty easily. Overlord, active main once per turn. If your leader card is a yellow Demon Clan, look at the bottom card of your deck. If it's a yellow Demon Clan card with energy cost 2 or less, you may play it. Otherwise, return to the bottom of your deck. Alright, so definitely just like a key payoff card for the Garlic Jr. deck. It's really interesting because the deck wants to swarm, but then you want to activate your servants to put it on the bottom, and then it looks like this is the payoff card where once you servant something the bottom, you can just activate his ability to put it back on the field and attack again. Seems pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, seems like a very solid payoff card for the deck. It also has a big indestructible, which is very good, since indestructible is very difficult to get rid of. Ice Shenron the Cryomancer. Interesting that it's a 2-drop. For some reason I thought this was going to be a 3-drop, but this is the super rare for Sin Shenron. It's a 2-cost counterplay. If the leader card is mono yellow, play this card, and the card being played is played in rest mode. Not terrible. You probably won't use it for that often, just because a 2-cost like Crusher Ball effect is kind of expensive, but having it as an option isn't bad either. But the really interesting thing is this active main. For 1 yellow, you can discard this card from your hand, play up to 1 Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 1 from your deck with its skills negated for the turn, then shuffle your deck. So basically on turn 1, you can pay a yellow and discard this card to play your Sin Shenron 1-star ball from your deck. And you wouldn't be able to go into the next one anyways because it takes the yellow energy. Plus, like, the fact that its skills are negated kind of doesn't matter because your opponent can't really get rid of it on your turn, the first turn, very often. I don't think there's an actual way to do that in the game currently. Other than like some obscure thing. But yeah, so this card is going to be definitely a 4 of in the Shadow Dragon deck because it's basically 4 more copies of the Sin Shenron 1-star, I think, Dragon Ball. And the little bit of utility stapled onto it is not bad either. It's certainly fine that way. SS4 Goku Conqueror of Evil. 5 cost, 30k, double strike, Xeno Evolve on a Son Goku Xeno for 5. When a card evolves in this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, send it to its owner's warp. This card gains triple attack for the turn. So it's triple attack, double strike. Choose 1 card in your hand, send it to your warp. When your opponent attacks, negate the attack, then negate the skill for the turn. So this is basically just like a big payoff card for the Overrealm type decks. Also, if you're playing pure black, there's a Son Goku Xeno that's a 1 cost that is a negate. So you could negate an attack on your turn, on your opponent's turn, and on your turn, Xeno Evolve for 5. So you do get a lot for this. Like triple attack, double strike, remove a card is definitely very good, but paying 5 for it is a lot. Paying 5, like, you have to have a massive payoff for it to be worth it. And for the most part, these kind of black Overrealm decks really want to be they really want to be like aggressive decks. They're not really looking to like control or anything like that since you can't keep battle cards on the field. That being said, like, it might have a home in Broly because it's a 30k black battle card. It can be included in that cost. So it might be something where you play a couple of these and then a couple of the negate Gokus just in case the game goes that long. You have like a big finisher. As this for Bardock, Combat Instincts. So this is a 6 cost 30k dual attack, Overrealm 6 for 3 black. When this card is played using Overrealm, choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand, send them to their warp. So I like this card a lot better. It also fulfills the 30k cost for Broly, but it only costs 3 to play, and it always will take 2 cards out of your opponent's hand with its ability, plus you get a dual attack 30k, so you're going to take probably more cards out of your opponent's hand with that too. This card just seems very good in general. It's just a very solid card. Dark Broly, the Uncontrollable Berserker. So here's the big super rare Broly everyone was waiting for. Just like the other ones, it's a 6 cost 30k with no combo power unique. Just like the other ones, if your leader's a Dark Broly, you can send 6 black battle cards other than this card from your drop area to your warp to play it from your drop area. And then when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, send it to its owner's warp, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. So basically what this deck is going to do is it's going to try and mill a whole bunch and then put out these big 30k Dark Brolys. 1 discards a card from the hand, 1 removes a card from the board, and I honestly can't remember what the last one does. But it's basically like they all do a different thing, so which one you're going to want to get is just going to depend on like what the current game situation is. It's going to be interesting because you have to like hyper mill to get multiples of these out at once. Like getting 1 out is going to be pretty easy, like just getting 6 battle cards. It's basically 6 30ks, which the Broly cards all like specifically mill 30ks. So getting 1 out won't be that hard, but getting like 2 or 3 in a turn will be a lot more difficult. It's definitely a solid payoff card, and the fact that you can play all these Dark Broly cards for essentially free is very, very good. So yeah, I'm super excited for this deck. It seems really cool. I'm not sure 100% how it's going to play yet. It's really hard to like kind of judge how good this deck is because it has the added aspect of since you have a targeted like burst where you're milling only specific cards, like the value of the cards in your deck is going to get really high since you're not going to be drawing these dead cards because you're going to be milling them early. Like you're going to draw a lot more of like negates and like super combos and like powerful cards that you don't need for your engine. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and this deck might actually be deceptively strong. Also, I'm wondering whether we're going to get another big payoff card in the form of, since all these are Dark Broly's and not Xeno Broly's, if we're going to get our Xeno Broly that this evolves into. Part of me is wondering if that's going to be the secret rare, but we'll see. It could be like one of the secret rares is like what you actually Xeno evolve into, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, what do you guys think? Interesting that we got like so many black super rares this set. It really seems like they really want to kind of pay off like black this set. And this Garlic Jr., this Piccolo helps the deck a ton. This is going to make the deck a lot more viable than we had before. And this Ice Shenron also is just really, really good for Sin Shenron decks. It's just going to improve the consistency of the deck a lot, which is something the deck kind of needed, was like early game consistency of like always having that 1-star ball. So yeah, go out there, enjoy your weekend, play some Super, and have some fun.